is it obvious to you that you are aware?
Yes.
Yeah. So in other words, you must be aware that you are aware.
Yes.
Now, what is it that is aware, that you are aware?
It's the same thing, is the awareness.
Yes, it's aware of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Now, in order to answer the question, are you aware? When I asked you the question, is it obvious to you that you are aware? You said yes. That yes came from your experience.
Mm.
Yeah? Where did you go to derive that answer, yes?
Nowhere.
No, but you went to your experience. It's true, you went nowhere, but
Yes.
nevertheless, you went to your experience.
Yes, here.
You didn't go to a thought. Yeah? You said, I just
No.
went, you didn't check out the sensation at the soles of your feet and say, I am aware because that sensation is present.
No.
No, as you quite rightly said, I went nowhere. I didn't go somewhere. But nevertheless, you went to the experience of awareness, being aware of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you came back with the answer, yes, for absolute certain, I, awareness, am aware of myself. And I don't go via a thought to find that out. I, awareness, know myself just by being myself. I don't need a tiny little human mind in order to reflect myself back to myself. The sun doesn't need to be reflected in a mirror in order to illumine itself. Just by being itself, the sun illumines itself. It doesn't need a world to reflect. It doesn't need the moon to shine on the sun, to light it up. Yeah?
Yes.
Awareness is like that. And you've discovered that in your experience. You rightly said, I went to the experience of myself being aware. That experience wasn't a thought, not a sensation. You went nowhere.
But not even an experience.
It's not even an experience, perfect, but we don't have the language for it.
Okay.
We would have to remain silent if we were only going to say true things about awareness. So, but nevertheless, you are more certain that you are aware than you are of anything else. That certainty, it's your experience. But when you look for what it is, you can't find it. It's because it's not a thing. And yet it is the most ordinary, most intimate, most familiar experience, in inverted commas, that we know. It's not extraordinary. If anyone, any of the 7 billion of us, were willing to sit down like we are now and just give time to exploring their experience, everyone would have to come to the same conclusion. Yes, I am aware that I am aware. And I don't know that by going to a thought or a feeling or a sensation.
It's just like being.
It's pure being, but it's being, but the being that I am knows that I am. So it's not just being, it's also knowing. The I that I am is aware that I am. These two qualities, being and knowing, they're not two qualities, just like light and heat are not really two qualities of the sun. It should be being, knowing, written all one word. And that is what the word awareness means. Ness means the presence of. So the word awareness means the presence of that which is aware. The being of knowing, or the knowing of being. These are the two essential qualities, which are not in fact two qualities, but we can speak of them as two qualities. The two essential qualities of ourself, and everybody is in touch with this simple knowing of our own being. It's knowing of itself. And all that happens is that thought adds a quality to that simple knowing of our own being. Thought adds a quality that belongs to the limited body and the mind. Thought says, I, this pure being, this pure knowing being, shares the limits of the body-mind. And with that thought alone, an illusory self comes into existence, into apparent existence, which is part pure awareness, part limited body-mind. And hence we feel, I, the body-mind, am aware. It's not the body-mind that is aware. It is awareness that is aware. But most of us think I. When we say I, we point I, this is aware of my experience. This is hearing these words. It's not. It's awareness that is aware. And with that simple overlooking of our true nature, this illusory self comes into apparent existence, and it is on behalf of that illusory self that most people lead their lives. And it is for that reason that the poet Thoreau said, most men lead lives of quiet desperation. Because once the knowing, the simple knowing of our own being, its knowing of itself, has been apparently veiled by the acquisition of thoughts and feelings, that the peace, the intelligence and the love that are innate in the simple knowing of our own being is veiled. And it is for that reason that the illusory self is always on a search in the outside world in order to try to recover this lost peace, happiness and love. But it's a search that is destined to fail, because the very presence, the apparent presence of the illusory self is the veiling of the happiness for which it longs. This is the comic, tragic condition of the separate self. Its apparent presence is itself the denial of the one thing for which it longs.